It's Abe Bonowitz with Glynn Simmons, and we're live. We're trying out a new program that we have at Death Penalty Action called Restream, where we can be on multiple channels at the same time. And tomorrow is Wrongful Convictions Day. Hey, Glenn, can you turn your phone sideways? And let's see if we get a similar. What happens if you turn your phone sideways? So I can see you online there. Yes. So welcome. Can you hear me, Glenn?
Well, I turned it sideways. I can't get a full view.
All right. Keep it the other way. That's fine.
All right.
So here we are. We're being very informal tonight. It's Friday night. We've got a whole other program starting on, not Friday night, it's Sunday night. Oh my gosh. We've got a whole other program starting at 9 o'clock called The Forecast. We're going to look at the executions coming up at this month in October. There's 3 of them. But tonight, just for a little bit, just to kind of kick off International Wrongful Convictions Day, we're going to talk to Glynn Simmons. Glynn is the most recently exonerated death row survivor in the country, number 195 on the Innocence Project list. We got to know Glynn a little bit. Welcome, Glynn, back to the Death Penalty Action platform.
Hey, how you doing?
It's busy. It's super busy, but I'm glad to be talking with you.
Yeah.
How are you feeling today?
I am blessed. I'm blessed.
All right, well, we just saw each other a week ago, almost a week and a half ago now, when there was a press conference to announce that they had dropped the charges in your case. For people that don't know anything about it, can you just give us the 2-minute version of what happened to you?
Well, recently the judge passed the order said I was exonerated of all charges, admitting that they couldn't proceed no further with a new trial because there was no evidence. The evidence that they used to convict me on the first trial had been suppressed and it was inadmissible. So the judge decided it was best to dismiss all charges. And I'm a free man now. Been, totally exonerated.
So, Glenn, how have you been spending your days as you get used to being free? I mean, it's only been since July 19th.
Yes. And it's been tremendous challenge to make the adjustments back in society to get reacclimated after 48 years of incarceration. Not only of incarceration, but for incarceration for a crime I didn't do. And it's been challenging. It's been real challenging. On the other hand, it's been extremely happy, rewarding being free after all.
Of course, I can only imagine, as most of us can only imagine.
Yes.
But there's too many people in your community, and it keeps growing. And I know that's one of the things that you want to focus on as you get yourself established is helping. Yeah. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. As I say it every time I go before the mic, criminal justice reform, rethinking how we do criminal justice, is one of the things on forefront of my agenda once I get myself established. But everybody want to know what I'm gonna do in the future, and but I have immediate needs, food, clothing, shelter, medication, transportation. I have immediate needs that it don't preclude me from thinking too far in the future, but it's essential that I focus on my immediate needs of adjustment to society. Or logically, I won't be able to do nothing in the future. All the hopes and dreams and aspirations I have to do good things in the future won't come to fruition if I don't get myself together right now.
Of course, right? You've got to focus on yourself in this moment, and to help you with that, you've established a GoFundMe. I think over $20,000 has been raised so far. Let me just take a look real quick. We're at 24,018. If there hasn't been anything new since the last time I refreshed, that's from 373 people, and that's an important thing for people to understand. Is we're not looking for people to throw $1 million. Well, we would love it if somebody threw $1 million at Glynn, but But really, if you've got $5, that can help, and it's
It
$500
takes
is
a
good
whole
for
bunch.
people to put in 1,000. Go ahead, Glenn.
Yeah, I was saying it takes a whole bunch of crumbs to make a cake. You know,
Exactly.
uh, I've been getting a
Exactly.
whole bunch of crumbs. I'm extremely grateful for that. It has helped me tremendously. And
Well,
as soon as I get myself established out here in society, I plan to do some real positive things about actual innocence. I understand it thoroughly. I understand it more better than most people because I've been through it for 48 years. You know, uh, uh, Actual innocence, not guilty. And it takes a long time. And there's a lot of guys behind. There's a lot of guys been put to death. We say, well, maybe, but I know for a fact there's some, innocent guys that have been put to death over the years. You know,
yes.
what are we going to do about it?
Well, they might have just done one a couple of a week and a half ago. Anthony Sanchez there in Oklahoma, where you're at. You're the 11th Oklahoma death row survivor. Your co-defendant hopefully is going to be the 12th, and yet they're executing people when there's too much doubt.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
in your case, there was no evidence against you. How did they convict you?
Uh, that's one for the courts. I know how they convict me. I'll talk about it in my next book or Netflix special or whatever I put out. But it's the elephant in the room that nobody didn't want to talk about for 48 years. How did they convict me? Just brief glance at the police reports, at the records that were suppressed. You can get a clear understanding that I was never supposed to be convicted. Yet I was because there was, the evidence was suppressed. It's easy. It's easy once the detectives or the police decide not to bring forth the investigative reports, and
Uh,
I don't know.
that that's the
You
challenge,
got
and
to
then of
take it.
course if
Also, the atmosphere of the time, a lot of racism and everything involved. So the conviction it wasn't no tremendous conviction to obtain, notwithstanding the fact I didn't have proper representation at all. So my conviction was one for the books.
Sure, sure. Well, Glenn, we're not intending to do a big, long program here. There's going to be
Yeah,
opportunities for you
yeah.
to tell your story. But tell us, how did you keep hope all those years, almost 5 decades?
Here's the thing: we talk about hope and faith and patience, and of course, I've had a whole bunch of hope and faith and patience. But the thing is not having hope, is not having patience, is holding on to it. It's like quicksilver. You get patience, you get hope, you have a lot of that. But holding on to it for 48 years, that is the challenge. It's like quicksilver slip through your hand. You get close to being released, and then the door slammed in your face. So, you know, yeah, it's been a struggle. It's been a real struggle. I have no blueprint for how to maintain hope, how to be resilient. You know, like I say all the time, everybody see the world through the lens of their own experience. With my experience, I was an innocent man. So, the other guys who were struggling, who might have factual innocence, they didn't present it this right, but I was actually innocent. So, my lens was totally different from everybody else. That's what I always felt about it. I don't know what nobody else was thinking, but it gave me more resilience and more hope and more faith, more reasons to fight and get up and do it again.
Well, it's unbelievable. I can't even imagine it myself. I've done a couple of nights in jail, a couple of times, but always voluntarily getting arrested to be part of the cause and the movement and trying to stop executions. But when it's not voluntary and it seems like
Yeah.
it's never going to end,
When
a lot of
when
people
it's
don't
violent,
survive that long in prison.
when it's voluntary, you exercise some self-determination to make that happen. When it's not voluntary, you have absolutely no self-determination, and you're at the whim of some system, somebody. It's the hardest thing about being incarcerated. Being totally devoid of self-determination. You're determined what your future gonna be. What are you gonna say? What are you gonna wear? you know, how far you're going to walk, how long you're going to sleep. You have no determination over nothing. Your health, you know, your diet, and none of that. So that is what doing time is. That is for the guys that know. You know, it gets deeper than being locked up in the cell. It gets deeper than just the, you know, the funky cell, the dirty showers, and nasty food. It's way where you could adjust to that stuff, but not to have no self determination for years. It's a whole nother thing, you know.
Well, that is a whole other thing. Well, Glynn, Death Penalty Action stands with you, and there's lots of other people in the movement standing with you. And to the extent that we can help you get going, I understand you're getting ready to move into your apartment that you were able to rent. And just having to start life completely from scratch. I mean, that's what I want to ask people to think about. I mean, if you started saving money for your retirement when you were 20 or early in your 30s, when you got into the workforce, and here you are now, you're 70 years old, and
Man,
you
this
got
is
everything you
crazy.
saved your entire life. Glenn, you don't have anything like that, and that's why we're hoping that eventually your lawyers are able to get the state to pay up and get others who are responsible for what happened to you to pay up. But in the meantime, we're really counting on everyday people like me and
Yeah, yeah,
others who have been able to chip in a little bit. And together, all of us together, we can make it so that you can have a comfortable situation for the rest of your life.
yes, sir. Yeah, go to my GoFundMe and make a donation if you can. I also have a cash app. It's Glynn Simmons 13. That's my cash app.
But anybody that wants to, I don't have that primed up to pop in here, but anybody that wants to email Death Penalty Action, info@deathpenaltyaction.org, and we can get that to you. And it's already across the ocean. It's already October 2nd, but for the next 24 hours, next 30 hours from the time here on the East Coast, it's International Wrongful Convictions Day, drawing attention to the fact that sometimes we get it wrong. And sometimes we have the wrong people incarcerated. And when that happens, we have to do everything we can to stop executions and to free the innocent. And when we find out that we made a mistake, we as a people, as a government, we have to make it right to the extent that it's possible. We can never give this man his life back, but we can make the rest of his life as comfortable as possible and make sure that he has what he needs to be able to live life. So, Glenn,
Yes.
any parting thoughts before we go for tonight?
Everybody stay prayed up and keep the faith. I come out of prison and my tag coming out is no hate. Yeah, hate. I come out with no hate after all been said and done. After 48 years of penitentiary, well, if I indulge in the hate part, then I'm not going too far. So, peace to everybody. Don't hate. I'm out. Take care, Ed.
With that, take care, Glenn. We'll be talking to you soon. I understand you're heading back to visit Louisiana later on this week. And have a great trip, and we'll be talking.
Okay.
Take care, everybody. And if you're watching right now live, it's an 8 p.m. hour, 8:20 Eastern time, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern time, 8 p.m. Central. We'll be doing a forecast right here in the same place. And wherever you're watching, it'll be there too. And we'll be talking about the upcoming executions. So come back at 9 o'clock, and we'll be doing more of these with other death row survivors tomorrow. No set schedule. We're just going to get on and have these brief conversations and let people know these are real people and they need our help. And we all have to work to stop this from happening to anybody else. Thank you.
Thank you and good night, everybody.